the ability as a man to feel certain in times of uncertainty on the outside world. We have two worlds. We have two worlds, all of us. We have an outside world and we have an inside world. One of the things I learned from my mentor, Bob Proctor, is that the outside world is a reflection of the inside world. If we change the inside world, the outside world will begin to shift. If we don't like what's going on the outside, we must change us. We can't change our partner. We can't change another person. We can't change the business, but we can change ourselves. Right now, God has you on a purpose. God has you on a mission. And you might have success and you might be kicking ass right now. Or you might be at the tail end of a certain fulfillment where it's not that motivating anymore. Or maybe you're in the third category where you've already transitioned into the new position and it's feeling a little uncertain. Maybe you're starting to putting out content. Maybe you got a new sales job. Maybe you're trying something new for the first time and you're not that good at it. And you're questioning, should you go back to the thing that was making you successful, or should you follow your heart despite what the outside world says that you're not that good, or you should be waver in your decision. And at that point, it becomes boring, useless, and monotonous. You see, this is not a sign of failure, my friend. This is a sign of growth, because you've moved on to the next layer. So what would this actually look like in this example if we were to illustrate this? So let's just say we have our purpose right here. And that's our deep, deep purpose. I'm talking about the purpose that God put us on this earth for. And we want to see it as an onion. There's layers upon layers, and let each of these layers represent a new purpose in this period of your life. So that's what he's saying here. So let's just say this first layer is network marketing. Let's just say that's the business you started in when you were younger. So the first layer, when you were, 20 years old or something, you were starting in network marketing. And this was the thing that was driving you. You were getting up every single day, reading books, getting into personal development, and bleeding, sweating tears of network marketing, or it could be a sport or an instrument, right? Something in your life when you were younger. But what happened was that represented this layer of your life. This is what consumed you at this level. But it was what you were supposed to do. It's what your heart was driving you towards. But then they'll get to a point where the thing that was driving you so hard isn't that motivating anymore. Maybe you're not getting the same level of success. Maybe it's not fun anymore. Maybe it's boring. Maybe it feels useless. And then you start to question yourself and you're like, should I continue doing this thing? It's been my heart for 2, 3, 4 years. And now I feel like I want to move to something else, but am I giving up my time? Am I losing all that energy and time and success that I've put in? I remember that's what I felt when I decided to leave my network marketing company after a year and a half, from 19 to 21 years old. I gave it everything I had. I dropped out of college and I busted my ass literally 12-hour days for a year and a half straight. And I had some little bit of success. And I remember feeling almost guilty wanting to move on to the next phase of my life. And that's what he's saying in this article. As a man, we have to be able to shift our purpose. We have to be able to shift and know that, hey, am I giving up because it's too hard? And that could be mental, right? Being uncertain mentally. And you see the results that you're not getting. And your mental cognition says, I'm not getting results. I should quit. Or is your heart saying it's not positioned or postured for this purpose anymore? And that's a question that as a man, you're going to start to develop. And what I'm imploring you to try to realize and teach you in this episode here. And so let's move on to the next one. The next phase is you moving to a new major city. For the first time, you're going to move out of your home. You're 22, 23 years old as a man. And now you're going to go out and move out of the house, move to a major city and start your own business. It's like it's like a whole 360 or 180. You went from staying at your parents' house, maybe working a job, to moving to a major city and starting your very first business, either full-time or part-time. And so this is the next layer. And then you're out there and you're busting your ass and you're going after it. And then you just, right? Let's just say we give that a couple years and you're failing and boom, you finally strike success. Let this green line, let this layer represent success. For the first time, you start to achieve what would be called certainty or 3D world or physical success. You start to hit those $10,000 months or more. You start to manifest your dream partner, or you get a girlfriend that's in a loving relationship. Maybe you start dating more women, and that's what you wanted. Maybe you start hanging out with new groups, and you're in a really cool friend circle. Maybe you move into your very first apartment. It's your dream apartment, right? You start to see this outside layer of success for the first time, and you're gonna ride that because for the first time you're actually starting to see manifestations or physical success starting to come into play here. And let's just say you run that for another 2 to 4 years. And now here you are. It could be 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 years old. And that same drive that brought you success, and it was a success you tasted for the first time. And you're going to start to, it's going to start to feel boring, not so fun. And your heart's going to want to move you in a new direction. But then this new layer is going to be different here. Let's color this layer blue. This new layer here is going to be very difficult for you as a man. Now, why is that? It's because you see at this layer at green, it was the first time you had success in your life. Whatever you define as success, whether it was a high-paying job or whatever, health, wealth, relationship, what we talk about. And now your mind is saying it's not fun anymore. And your heart's saying it's time for you to move. It's time for you to transition to something new, whether it's a new city, a new business. Maybe it's time for you to break up with your girlfriend, or maybe it's time for you to stop dating so many women and focus on just one girl, right? There's so many different things that can happen. And you're going to move on to this next layer, and it can be very scary, very uncertain. Because what will happen is, you see, let this first arrow here, you see your heart saying move towards that direction. But then your mind says go back to certainty. Go back to what was making you successful. Go back to the dating strategies that you were doing. Go back to your girlfriend. Go back to that business model. Go back to your job. Go back, because this part is unfamiliar. This part is uncomfortable. This feels uncomfortable. But see, as a man, we have to be able to distinguish the difference between a mental uncertainty and a heartfelt uncertainty. Does that make sense here? So that's what the author is saying in this level here. As a man, we have to be able to distinguish the difference between our purpose mentally and our purpose when it comes heartfelt. So what are some examples of what you could feel if you were going through this position in this transition period? You see, it is possible that with one layer of purpose, which you have now fulfilled, on the way to another layer of purpose, closer to your deeper purpose, among them, these are some of the things that you can feel. I'm going to highlight 2 right here. There's 5, but I'm going to highlight 2 for time purposes. Number 1, you suddenly have no interest whatsoever in a project or a mission that previously motivated you highly. You're no longer motivated for the thing that has caught your heart for a year, 2 years, 3 years of your life. And you see, this is what you can be feeling right now. You see, this is not a sign of failure. This is a sign of you moving to the next layer of your onion, going into something deeper. Because there's no growth if we stay in the same layer. And that's what I started to feel was I needed to grow. I needed to get out. For me, the passion was I wanted to help more people get deeper, more specific results. In order for that to happen, I needed 2 things: a specific avatar or a specific customer, and help them get a specific result. So in order for me to grow, I needed to go to a deeper layer. And so one thing you could feeling is this: you suddenly have no interest whatsoever in a project or mission that previously motivated you highly. The next thing, even though you may not have the slightest idea of what you're going to do next, you feel clear, you feel unconfused, and especially unburdened.